Hi guys, my name is Jaswinder Singh from Marshall's Institute of English Language. Today I have got one new lesson here. Its name is $1,000 by O. Henry. Well, we are just going to learn how to do reading. So reading is actually very important for every learner. The right way to be learned so that we can just have good influence on other people. So I'm just going to teach you how to do the reading part. So I have the story in front of me. The name is $1,000 by O. Henry. So Robert Gillian received $1,000 from his uncle's will, that too with a condition. What was the condition? What did he do with the money? Did he spend it sensibly? So let's see. So let's read what we have in this story. So let's start. $1,000, repeated Lawyer Tolman solemnly and severely, and here is the money. Young Gillian laughed as he touched the thin packet of new $50 notes. It is such a little amount, he told the lawyer. You heard the reading of your uncle's will, continued Lawyer Tolman in a dry tone. I do not know if you paid any attention to its details. I must tell you that you must give us an account of the manner of expenditure of these $1,000 as soon as you have spent them. I trust you will comply with the late Mr. Gillian's wishes. I trust you will comply with the late Mr. Gillian's wishes. You may depend upon it, said the young man, politely. I may have to have a secretary. I was never good at accounts. Gillian thrust the packet of notes in his pocket and went to the club. There he looked for the person whom he called Old Bryson. Old Bryson was calm at 40. He was in a corner reading a book. And when he saw Gillian coming, he sighed, laid down his book, and took off his glasses. Old Bryson, wake up, said Gillian. I have a funny story to tell you. I wish you'd tell your story to someone in the billiard room, Gillian said Old Bryson. This one is better one than usual, said Gillian, rolling a cigarette, and I'm going to tell it to you. It's too sad and funny to go with the game. It's too sad and funny to go with the game. I've just come from the office of my uncle's lawyers. He leaves me $1,000. Now, what can a man possibly do with just $1,000? I thought, said Old Bryson, that the late Septimus Gillian was worth something like $500,000. He was, said Gillian joyously. And that's where the joke comes in. He left almost all his money to a microbe. That is, the part of it goes to a man who invents a new bacillus and the rest to a hospital for doing away with that microbe. The butler and the housekeeper get a seal ring and $10 each. His nephew gets $1,000. You've always had a plenty of money to spend, said Old Bryson. Tons, said Gillian. Uncle was the fairy godmother as far as an alliance was concerned. Any other heirs? Asked Old Bryson. None. Gillian frowned and kicked the divan uneasily. There is a Miss Hayden, a ward of my uncle, who lived in his house. I forget to tell you that she gets a seal ring and $10 too. What a joke. Don't be insulting. Old Bryson, tell me what a fellow can do with $1,000. Old Bryson rubbed his glasses and smiled. And when he smiled, Gillian knew that he was going to be more offensive than ever. $1,000, he said, means much or little. One may buy a happy home with it. $1,000 would buy pure milk for 100 babies during June, July, and August and save 50 of their lives. You could have half an hour fun in one of the art galleries. It will provide an education to an ambitious boy. You could move to a New Hampshire town and live respectably for 2 years on it. People might like you if you want to moralize. I ask you to tell me what I could do with the $1,000, said Gillian. You, said old Brycer, with a gentle laugh. Why, Bobby Gillian, there is only one sensible thing that you can do. You can buy Miss Lotta Laurier a diamond pendant and spend the rest of your time in a ranch. Thanks, said Gillian, rising. I thought I could depend on you, old Bryson. You gave me the right idea. I wanted to spend the money in a lump. No need to keep a big account then. I hate that. Gillian phoned for a cab and asked the driver to take him to the Columbine Theatre. Miss Lotta Laurier was almost ready for the show when her dresser mentioned Mr. Gillian's name. Let him in, said Miss Laurier. Now, what is it, Bobby? She said, looking quite bored. I'm going to perform in 2 minutes. I won't take 2 minutes, said Gillian. What about a pendant? I can spend 3 ciphers with a figure in front of them. Oh, just as you say, Bobby. Did you see the necklace Della Stacy was wearing the other night? $2,200 it cost, she said, and she left for her performance. Gillian went to the cab. What would you do if you had $1,000? He asked the driver. Open a saloon, answered the driver at once. I would make money with both hands. Are you thinking of? Oh no, said Gillian. Merely ask for curiosity. Drive on till I ask you to stop. 8 blocks down the Broadway, Gillian saw a blind man selling pencils on the sidewalk. Gillian got out of the cab and stood before him. Excuse me, he said, but tell me what you would do if you had $1,000. You have got down the cab just now. Take a look at this, if you like, said the blind man and took out a small book from his pocket. Gillian opened it and saw it was a bank deposit book. It showed a balance of $1,785 to the blind man's credit. Gillian returned the book and got into the cab. Tallman and sharp at Broadway, he told the driver. I beg your pardon, said Gillian cheerfully. But may I ask you one question? Hope you won't mind. Was Miss Hayden left anything by my uncle's will besides the ring and $10? Nothing, said Mr. Tallman. I thank you very much, sir, said Gillian, and out he went into his cab. When Gillian reached his uncle's house, Miss Hayden was writing letters in the library. She was small and slender and dressed in black. I have just come from Tallman's office, he explained. They found a postscript to the will. It seemed that Uncle on second thoughts loosened a bit and willed you $1,000. As I was driving this way, Tallman asked me to bring the money. Here it is. Gillian laid the money on the table. Miss Hayden turned white. Oh, I'm sorry, said Miss Hayden, taking up her money. I'm sorry, she said again. There is no use, said Gillian, almost light-heartedly. May I write a note? Asked Gillian with a smile. She gave him the paper and then went back to her work. Gillian made an account of his expenditure of the $1,000 in these words: paid by the black sheep, Robert Gillian's $1,000 on the account of eternal happiness to the best and dearest woman on earth. Gillian slipped his writing into an envelope, bowed, and went his way. His cab stopped at the office of Tallman and Sharp. "I have just spent the $1,000, he said cheerfully to Mr. Tallman, "and I have come to give you the account." He tossed the envelope on the table. Without touching the envelope, Mr. Tallman went to the door and called his partner Sharp. Together they discussed something. Finally, Mr. Tallman said, "Mr. Gillian, your uncle had left another envelope which was to be opened after you had submitted an account of spending the 1,000 bequest in the will. As you have given the account, my partner and I read the content of the envelope. We will not give you the details, but the gist is that if you have spent the $100 wisely, we have the power to release you $5,000 kept for you. But if you spend the money the same way as you did in the past, the $5,000 will be paid to Miriam Hayden, the word of the late Mr. Gillian. Now, Mr. Gillian, we will examine your account in regard to $1,000. Mr. Tallman reached for the envelope. Gillian was a little quicker in taking it up. He tore the account and its cover and dropped them into his pocket. "It's all right," he said, smiling. "There is no need to bother you with this. Anyhow, I lost the $1,000 on the races. Good day to you, gentlemen." Tallman and Sharp shook their heads in disgust and looked at each other, and they heard Gillian leave the room whistling. So that's all for now from this story, but try to read the story in the same manner to make it more interesting and meaningful. But yeah, take care of words pronunciation to sound accurate while reading the story. So thanks for watching this video. See you again with a new story. Have a great day. Bye now.